Okay, there are 3,530 history, maths, and science books in the school library. There are 370 more history books than maths books. There are 450 fewer history books than science books. And we're asked, how many science books are there? Well, the trick with this sort of question, I mean, it's a comparison question. It's probably easier to think about which one is going to be your basic unit. And it looks like the the lowest number, the smallest block is going to be the maths block because there are more history books than maths books, and there are fewer history books than science books. So I think I'm going to start with drawing a block for maths. So there we go. This is going to be my maths block, and that's how big I'm going to draw it. Okay. Ignore the squares. And the size of the block here doesn't mean anything. Okay. It's just a guess. Right. What am I going to do now? What do I know now? Well, it says there are 370 more history books than maths books. Okay. So that's the next block that I'm going to draw. If I can get my pen to behave well. There we go. So history, I'm going to draw a block. Now, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to draw the block exactly the same first, because I know there are at least the same number of history books. And then I'm going to draw a block here. There we go. That represents the 370. Okay. You might see others drawing a bigger block for the history and then showing the difference here. Okay. And you can do that as well. I think, well, just wait until you see. So you might have just drawn one big block and shown the difference here. I find that you might as well delineate where your equal parts are right from the start. I think that just draws attention to that because invariably you're going to be using that. Okay, now what? Well, we've got maths, we've got history. What about science? It says, now you have to be, this is a tricky way to word it, isn't it? There are 450 fewer history books than science books. Okay, so there are fewer history books. The science books are bigger. The block for that is bigger. Okay, but look what I'm going to do again. I'm going to make that the same, okay, as the history block. And I'm adding, what am I adding here? 400, excuse me, 450. Okay, so there's 450. And actually, while I'm at it, I might as well put this in here. I think that might come in handy. There's 370. Okay, so I tend not to draw sort of the difference here to say, oh, the difference here is 450. Why not just make it clear here? All right. So what do I know? Well, I'm also told that the total, okay, there we go. The total number of books is 3,530. 3,530. And if I look at my model, I think it becomes really easy to see what I need to do, because I can see that if I subtract this amount, and this amount, I'm going to be left with the value of these three equal size blocks, because these blocks are obviously have the same value. So if I subtract 370, 370 and 450, I am left with 2,340. Okay, so I've eliminated that, eliminated that, eliminated that. I'm left with this. Okay, and if I divide 2,340, if I divide that by 3, I am going to get 780. I'm going to change color just because I can and feel like it. There we go. 780, each of these. And let's go back and see what's my question. I should really have marked that in from the beginning, shouldn't I? Okay, that's my question. And it becomes really easy to see what I need to do. So we have 780 plus 370 plus 450. Okay. And that is going to add up to 1,600. And that is my final answer. Okay. So I've drawn it slightly differently to how some might have drawn it, but that's because I think it illustrates what's happening even better. I hope this helps.